What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Coco Brass YouTube channel, where today we will be taking a look at the Superlative Arms AR-15 piston driven system that I have installed in my 13.7 build. So now, without further ado, let's get into it. First off, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the subscribers, the new subscribers that have just joined the Cook and Brass family. We just now hit 300 subscribers, and I can't ever thank you enough. So hopefully I can continue to put out informational videos that you all find interesting, trending videos that, continue to hit the algorithm correctly. If anything, just go ahead and continue to comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on these videos and so that we can get the viewership going and keep us out in the algorithm so that we can continue to grow this channel. I just want to say thank you again for coming to view this channel and for taking time out of your day to come and view this. If there's anything specific at all that you would like to see brought out to the channel, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Feel free to message me at any time. If there's any past reviews that you have seen that you would like to see follow up on, whether it be durability reviews, round counts, how things are starting to hold up, or just how I've changed the builds as I've continued to practice and train uh, here throughout. So without further ado, I'm excited to show you all this piston driven system. So now let's get into it. This is my 13.7 build that I have showed on the channel before. We've done a complete overview and why I believe 13.7 is probably my favorite barrel length overall. A lot of people gravitate towards the 14.5s and they swear by it. I personally have only owned a couple 14.5s, and the difference between a 13.7 and 14.5 is very marginal, but I understand why people enjoy it. I do believe that I will be trying to get a 14.5 build out to the channel so that we can go ahead and review and maybe one day take them out to the range and compare the two going forward. So now, starting at the tip, we have the Call Valley Precision Plan B mount that I have in my suppressor, the Diligent Defense Enticer S. So I have these on all of my firearms that I plan to shoot suppressed, which is pretty much all of them. And they are very quality Plan B mounts. The hub mount that goes into the suppressors are awesome. I actually just ended up getting another suppressor and will be planning to put the same Call Valley Precision Plan B hub into that so that we can run it on any of the 5.56 guns. So if you ever have a chance to check out Call Valley Precision, definitely take a look at it. Just because they are more of a budget price going forward with that, that does not mean that they are budget in quality. They are awesome in quality. I've tried this. I've tried the ASR mounts for a customer who recently just did a build through me, and comparing the actual ASR mounts to the Call Valley Precision ASR mount, almost identical. The quality is there, the craftsmanship is there. So if you ever have a chance to go check them out, definitely check that out. So then coming back on that, we have it attached to a 13.7 Ballistic Advantage barrel. It is just the plain Jane Ballistic Advantage barrel. It is not the Hansen profile at all. Then on top of that, we have the new Superlative Arms piston driven system. I jumped down the rabbit hole. I wanted to see how this piston driven system ran compared to a DI system when running suppressed. So went ahead and threw this in. It's hard to find a piston driven system that's in stock anymore. Brownells, you can't ever get their BRNs in stock. They're always sold out, always out of stock anymore. Don't know what's going on there. And then the Jackal, it is a long stroke piston system, which is, I guess, in the same essence as this in a way. But I would like to get one of those out to the channel. We've done a quick review and overview on that, but I would like to maybe get one of our own to see and compare how they run. But then coming back on top of there, we have the O-Hunt Daniel Defense dupe rail. This is a 13-inch rail. I think it fits perfect with this 13.7 barrel. And as I stated before, I've held and used the Daniel Defense rails before, and the quality and craftsmanship of this one is knocks it out of the park. I'm not saying that Daniel's Defense aren't rock solid because they have been battle proven and tested, but I will say that if you can't afford to put out the $400 that is a Daniel Defense rail, definitely check out the O Hunt. You will not be disappointed. Then coming on this side, we just have a pressure switch flashlight. I haven't really found a pressure pad that I trust or that I really like with positive actuation, so I would rather just run a tail switch, to be completely honest with you. I've never had an issue with that. So then we have the JMac Customs lower. This is an SBR lower. Finally got the tax stamp on that. And then up here we have just a Palmetto State Armory um, upper that I had laying around. In here we have a Toolcraft bolt carrier group. We just have a mil-spec charging handle. This grip is from Palmetto State Armory. I picked it up last time I was down at Myrtle Beach. Really like it. I would like to get a couple more of these to run on more of my builds. Then we have a ambidextrous safety. Coming back, we just have a regular SopMod stock with the storage. And then we have the new Vortex Triumph, which I would like to go ahead and highlight that this is an awesome optic. We'll be doing a review and overview of this, so that'll be coming out to the channel soon. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the tabletop and just discuss what's going on with this piston system. So as we come to the tabletop now, we are now overlooking this firearm. And as you can see in here, you could see the gas block that is on that barrel. Excuse the excessive red Loctite that I accidentally spilled on there. And then you see the guide rod coming back in through here, which it looks almost identical to a gas tube. And then you've got it going back into that gas block. So the way the piston system works different from a direct impingement system is with the direct impingement, you have a gas block and a gas tube. This is fixed. You have a roll pin shot through holes that are cut out in the gas tube, and the gas port aligns with the gas hole that is in the gas block of the firearm. So a barrel will have a gas port drilled into there, and all of those will align so that when a projectile is shot through here, the gases come through the barrel and expand. And as they do, by the time they get to the barrel, excess gas will shoot up through the port, through the gas block, through the gas tube, which advances your bolt carrier group, which would be right here backwards, therefore pushing back your buffer and buffer spring, ejecting the shell, and then chambering the new one. So this is how the normal direct impingement system works, is you have this, and then that's how it aligns in the upper receiver. So the way that this is different is you have this special gas block, which mine is the bolt on. This is not the regular sort of gas block that you see with ARs. I wish I would have gotten this because of the issues that I have had with this, which we will get into. But as you can see, you have the upper arm here. You have the adjustments here for to insert your guide rod and to adjust your gas settings. But right here, you will take this end completely off and you will put your guide rod through here, and this will screw back in with the threads, and then there's a detent that you adjust it to. It's actually supposed to be set up identical to how that is. So then as the gas comes up, it will advance that guide rod back and forth. So the guide rod is honestly no different than this, really. It kind of puts you in the same mind. This is the tool that they send out with it. But you have that, and then it allows you to have adjustable gas settings on that gas block, whether you are shooting higher pressure ammos, whether you're shooting with different suppressors, flow-through suppressors. It is honestly pretty universal. It's like a piston system and an adjustable gas block had a baby. So it's pretty much the best of both worlds when it comes through it. Then one of the main difference, as you will see, is the bolt carrier group. So you have no gas rings at all in this. It just moves freely. So that normally when you do this, you will set the bolt carrier group on its bolt head so that you can see that the gas rings are still intact and that they are still functioning properly. But as you can see here, they are very slightly different. So getting into that, as I showed before, you have the guide here that goes over the gas tube with the direct impingement system. So here with their proprietary bolt carrier group, they have just milled that out for the guide rod. And the reason that there are no gas rings needed here is because the gas is not coming back through a gas tube into the upper chamber. The gas is escaping out of here. So as the guide rod moves back and forth, the gas will be coming out down here at the gas block. That's why a lot of people who shoot suppressed or shoot higher round counts will normally venture to go towards a piston driven system because it runs cleaner. The system runs cleaner. You don't have so many gases coming back, blowing in your face, because as we normally shoot with the older style suppressors, we see an abundant amount of gas coming back towards us. It bothers some people and some people it doesn't. That's your own war or battle if you want to fight that. So no gas rings, proprietary Superlative Arms bolt carrier group, and then that is just drilled or milled out for the guide rod. So this sits there, the guide rod will sit right there, and that's what advances the guide rod backwards and forwards. So that is one caveat that I will say that is kind of aggravating, is that they do have a proprietary bolt carrier group. Because if you were planning to use this in a very high stress situation, put a lot of rounds through it, you're going to have another one of these. And these cost more and are harder to get a hold of than it would just a regular bolt carrier group that you can have 2 or 3 of these on hand for multiple builds, to where this is the only one that'll go in here. So another issue that I think it is they do not provide your own bolt. So they are trusting you to get a high quality bolt, or a bolt that is not completely worn out, completely beat to shreds, and trusting you to install it into their platform and running it. So I find that is an issue, is because some people might not be competent. Some people might be trying to do this on their own, not have a gunsmith to help them with this, and it could cause issues going down the road. And I don't know if they will cover that. But after speaking with their customer service, I really don't know what they will cover, and we will get into that also. So they have that with their bolt carrier group. It fits just a regular charging handle. And then as you can see in here, it looks just like a gas tube, but that is the guide rod that advances backwards and forwards. And as you can see in here, is it just moves freely back and forth. So that moving back and forth is what allows the gas to escape down towards the end of the firearm. Then they give you a guide to measure your barrel gas port width, as you can see here, to show exactly what length setup that you will need. And then here is their cheat sheet that pretty much just helps you adjust your gas and gives you some troubleshooting advice and some installation tips for using their system. Now, going forward into this, I did have issues when installing this. No, I'm not perfect by any means, but I do know how to work and troubleshoot firearms. I mean, it is what Cook and Brass LLC is founded on, as far as gunsmithing and working on firearms. So I kind of have a little bit of a background on it. But when it came to this, they include parts that they recommend to not even use. So my question to them was, why do you even include the parts if you're going to specify do not use this? So one of the parts that they include that they say to not use, as you read further into it, is this spring. What this spring is it's supposed to fit over your guide rod into that gas block, and it is supposed to add spring tension for that rod to go back and forth. But they say to not use it. So why include it? After speaking to the sales rep, he said that these will wear out between 300 to 500 rounds because of the high temperatures that is withstand or withheld in that gas block. So there's the first thing that can cause errors for this system if you put all the parts in. There's also a small washer that, if I can find a picture, I will include it here. There's a small washer that goes into the upper where your gas tube goes through, and it is a smaller washer that is supposed to help and guide that guide rod back and forth. They say they don't recommend that. I installed it, and the sales rep or the customer service rep was like, well, you don't even need to use that. You could take that out. And I was like, well, I've already hammered on it and installed it, so I'm just going to leave it. I don't think that's going to be the one reason that this failed. These are the bolts that are used to hold that gas block onto your barrel by using tension, by cranking on these and holding tension around that barrel to keep your gas block on there. There's only 3 of these. So I knew 30 inch-pounds was the max. I would like to try to get it as tight as I can so that way I don't have to keep taking this handguard off and apart and trying to troubleshoot it back on as if it moves. So the first bolt, I got to about 20 inch-pounds and then it snapped, rung off. That was an issue. So then I'm here. Thank goodness that I didn't use any of the Loctite that I was planning on using at first. So then I was able to get the bolt out. No harm, no foul. I was like, you know what? Maybe I put the setting wrong. I looked at it. It was correct on my Willard torque wrench. So I just went on with it. I had another one of these laying around that matched the thread pitch. We installed it. It was fine. I left them all at 20. End of story. So then I go to the range. I was not shooting this suppressed at first. So just trying to get a feel for it, try to get used to it. It worked as if it was a bolt action rifle. So I was like, well, maybe the gas system's messed up. I try to adjust the gas all the way out, nothing. Middle, nothing. All the way in, nothing. Still failing. So I went ahead and I looked through the holes here. Thank goodness for these. And I see that the gas block had bumped itself and moved off of the barrel. Well, that's an issue. So I set this to the side. I go ahead and shoot and get some more content going and just practice a little bit. And then I come back to revisit this. I completely take the handguard off and I'm sitting there fighting with it. Loosen the screws back up on the gas block, adjust it back to where it needed to be, and then I'm cranking on it. So I was like, well, if 20 is not holding it, I need to go a little bit more. I got to 24 inch-pounds again on another bolt, snaps. Bad thing was, it was the middle bolt. So I'm sitting there trying to get it off. It's starting to lock up. I don't know if the thread's messed up. I don't know if the thread's boogered when I took the other 2 screws out to try to get it out, but it was impossible to get it out. So then I was aggravated, went ahead and packed everything up and came here. Tried absolutely everything to try to get it out, and ultimately what it led to was me having to drill out that screw, therefore messing up the factory threads that were in there. So I got my tap and die set, went ahead and drilled out all of the 3 holes to match, got new of these bolts that I found in a pack that I had laying around that matched everything, and then went ahead and used my tap and die set to redo the threads on that gas block. Then was able to get these to 25 inch-pounds without snapping, and then we were fine. We've been cool ever since. I went ahead and once, before I left the range though, I'd put a ticket in for their customer service and was like, hey, this is what happened. I want to try to fix it. 3 days later, I get a call from the sales rep. He wanted to know the information on there, and he was like, well, what did you do? I explained it everything. How many inch-pounds did you put on that? I said the first one was 20. Well, the gas block's only rated for 30. I said, I know, but I only put 20 on there and the first one snapped. What kind of torque wrench are you using? I told him a Wheeler. Wheelers are known to be off. Maybe your torque wrench is out of calibration. I said, well, I just got it not long ago, which is honestly true. I started, the company not long ago, and I wanted to make sure I had all new tools to work with. So Before, yes, I was using something from Harbor Freight, but now I've got the Wheeler and I trust it a little bit more. So he says that my Wheeler is out of spec and it is not in calibration. So then I explained to him what else goes on, and then I told him that the next one snapped at 24 inch-pounds. He said that it is the torque wrench again. It is an issue because his is 5 to 6 inch-pounds off when using his torque wrench. I said, okay. Told him what I had to do to get it through, and then he said, well, you shouldn't be moving, the gas block should not be moving. What kind of barrel do you have? I told him a Ballistic Advantage. Well, we've never had an issue out of Ballistic Advantage barrels whatsoever, unless it's a Hansen barrel. I said, it is not a Hansen barrel. I have not used any of them before. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill Ballistic Advantage barrel. As we continue on with the conversation, he asks about how I position the gas block. I said I put this all the way in, pushed it all the way back to where there is no play on this guide rod as they suggested, and said that my gas block fit right onto the shoulder. That was correct, and that everything lined up perfect. We were ready to go. He said that is the correct thing to do, but what you're supposed to do is, apparently the way he said it was, leave your gas block loose, push your bolt carrier group in to where it will bump that guide rod, and it can then, maybe if need be, move the gas block up off of the shoulder of that barrel and have it in the perfect position. I said, okay, but mine didn't need that. Mine didn't bump forward. Mine fit exactly how it needed to. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you, it was a dream with this barrel. So then it continues on about what I'd done wrong, or try to figure out, diagnose what I've done wrong. And then he makes the statement that they have used these on many LE and military contracts, and they have never had an issue. Never had an issue. He had stated that he didn't even install two on builds that he personally has, and one of them is a Ballistic Advantage barrel, and he never had an issue. I said, okay, I'm not here to argue about what I may have done or not have done wrong on here, but I followed to a T. I even looked up on Reddit. I've looked up on other YouTube videos and YouTubers that have done reviews on this, and I've done exactly how they did. I just couldn't figure out why that happened. I told him about the bolts. I ended up having to drill out the gas block and retapping them myself and using bolts that I had laying around. He said, so then you don't need our help. I said, no, I've got it taken care of. Thank you for the little advice that you've had. I appreciate it. And he said that if I needed anything, feel free to call back. It just wasn't a pleasant experience. I know if you call up Palmetto State Armory, even Bear Creek Arsenal, if you call up any of these other brands or file anything that you think is wrong, they're going to look into it. They will troubleshoot it. They will walk you through it. They will help you. It just seemed like as soon as I got onto the phone with their customer service rep, it was immediately what I've done wrong, what I did. And I started off the conversation. I said, I've never used any of your stuff before. I just want to try it out to see how it works. That way, if somebody comes in and wants a piston system, I'll be more than happy to recommend this to them. But now, knowing how that is, if something functions wrong or something messes up, I don't know if I'm going to recommend this to people, because I know that they are known for their adjustable gas blocks. So without knowing how their customer service will be on that, I just went ahead and went with Call Valley Precision, so that if somebody says that they want an adjustable gas block on their build, I'll just be able to go to that, and I know that there will be decent customer service there compared to what I have had to deal with here. So then I now have 700 rounds through here without the first malfunction. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because the bolts were weak on there and they just kept snapping. But ever since I drilled out, retapped the holes, and got those new bolts across of it, it's ran like a top. I threw some red Loctite on there once, I got through my first 200 rounds. I went ahead and loosened the bolts up, threw some red Loctite on there, and we haven't had the first issue ever since the beginning. So, would I recommend this to somebody? It's up in the air. Does the system work? Yes. May you have a better experience than me? I sure hope so, as far as the customer service and troubleshooting experience goes. But would I use this again? I would probably go to another brand. I can't think of the brand off the top of my head. I will plug it here so that you can type it in and look into it if I find it. But they make almost the same exact system for your AR, and I would hope that their customer service is a little bit better and their warranty service is a little bit better to help you with this. I'm not saying this to say that Superlative Arms makes bad gear. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just giving you my experience so that you can have a better informed decision when buying something like this. I feel like I rambled on forever there, so we're just going to go ahead and try to keep this short and sweet. Do I notice a difference shooting with this suppressed than I do direct impingement? I do. Just a regular OG direct impingement, you have the gas coming back out of the gas port with you, and you can get gassed out depending on what you're using. The gas comes out down here at the end, and you don't have any issues getting gassed out if you have this tuned correctly. I have this tuned correctly to where it is shooting the brass out perfectly between around 3 o'clock, and it is ran like a top ever since. So, yes, would this be a go to war thing for me? No, because I like to have extra parts on hand. I would have to go through and spend more money to try to get their proprietary bolt carrier group. Then I'd have to go and buy the bolt, have that on standby. I'm not going to pay more to get another one of these um, adjustable gas blocks. So this is just something that's fun to train with, to shoot with. It's fun to experiment with. I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's what, I started Cooker Brass LLC for as well, is because I want to try to do different things. I want to be the guinea pig on a lot of this stuff. So that way, if I find something that is awesome and that I will recommend, just like I have with Call Valley Precision, I will recommend it day and night. But when I have multiple hiccups and issues with a platform, I'm not going to recommend it to people because I don't 100% trust it myself. I would say just rather go with a direct impingement system. Get you an adjustable gas block. You will love it. You'll enjoy it more than when shooting suppressed than you would just a regular gas block. So, like I stated before, I'm not saying any of this is a complete negative. It is fun. It is awesome. Once you get this to completely work, it is great. But I just wanted to share my experience with it as far as the Superlative Arms Piston System customer service goes. But it's a pretty cool system. I like the fact that you could turn your AR-15 into a piston-driven system instead of a direct impingement system. I think that's pretty neat. I think it's pretty cool. Plus, it is cheaper than, going and buying a Palmetto State Armory Jackal. It is cheaper than buying a BRN upper, but not by a lot. So if you want to save the heartache and stuff, I would probably recommend anybody to go check out a Jackal upper, check out a BRN upper, unless this is your only option and that you just want to go with this to try it out. So yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't do it again, but that's just my take. I would take a direct impingement system any day. So at the end of the day, I hope you found this video informative, informational. If there's anything at all that you would like to see, if you would like to see a follow-up on this once I get past 1,000 rounds, we definitely can. Ammo's starting to, creep up more and more, especially with 5.56. A lot of the rounds that I put through here were 223 because 223 is staying cheap. So thank goodness for Freedom Munitions. Not sponsored by them whatsoever, but they are the only reason that I've been able to, continue to afford ammo as expensive as everything's getting. So at the end of the day, if you've made it this far into the video, I can't ever thank you enough, and I just hope you have a blessed day. Thank you.